So we're on 1 Corinthians chapter 10 today, doing 15:9 in Geneva. We're going to start over in the in 9, just to know where he's talking about he becomes all things to all people, right? That he might save some. Okay. And then he was talking about the runners, the race of runners. Everybody runs, one receives the prize, right? Run that you may attain it. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable. So I did not run aimlessly. I did not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. Okay, so in 10, I just went over that. So he starts with moreover, right? Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, that all our fathers were under that cloud, and all passed through that sea. Paul speaketh thus in aspect of the covenant, and not in respect to the persons saving in general. Okay? And all were baptized unto Moses in that cloud and in that sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat. Spiritual, watch this be really long. Same that we do, right? Manna, which was the spiritual meat to the believers, which in faith they hold upon Christ, who is the true meat. And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ. Okay? So, just a side note, when I say the rock was Christ, because the first time God told Moses to strike the rock, okay? And he struck the rock, signifying Christ was struck. He was killed, right? And he got water. The second time, God told Moses to speak to the rock, okay? Speak to the rock, because Christ had already been sacrificed and was now alive, and you could talk to him. But Moses struck the rock, okay? And that's why he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land. Yeah, interesting, huh? Right, let's get the rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ, right? But with many of them, God was not pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. He's talking about from Egypt, right? Now these things are our examples, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed fornication, and fell in one day 23,000. Right? Right? They opened up the earth and swallowed them. Right? God did that. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted him and were destroyed of serpents. Okay? They did a lot of stupid stuff when they were crossing that desert. That's why they were there for 40 years. Right? That and to get rid of the generation. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, as were destroyed of the destroyer. Now all these things came unto them for examples, and were written to admonish us, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Right? Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as appertaineth to man, and God is faithful, which will not suffer you to be tempted above that you be able, but will even give the issue with the temptation, that ye may be able to bear it. I'm sure it says that better over here, but this is one of the oldest Bibles in print. So, wherefore, my beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as unto them which have understanding. Judge ye what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not the communion of the blood of Christ? The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Christ? For we that are many are one bread and one body, because we are all partakers of one bread. the body of Christ, right? Behold, Israel, which is after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is sacrificed to idols is anything? Nay. But that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not unto God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with the devils. You cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and of the cup of the devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Do we provoke the Lord to anger? Are we stronger than he? All things are lawful for me, but not all things are expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Okay, now he said this a couple of chapters back, right? Same words. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Whosoever is sold in the shambles, eat ye, and ask no question for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's, and all therein is. Right. That's a famous verse. If any of them which believe not call you to a feast, and if ye will go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. But if any man say unto you, this is sacrificed unto idols, eat it not, because of him that showed it, and for the conscience, for the earth is the Lord's, and all therein is. Right? And the conscience, I say, not thine, but of that other. For why should my liberty be condemned of another man's conscience? For if I, through God's benefit, be partaker, why am I evil spoken of? For that wherefore I give thanks. For if I, through God's benefit, be partaker, why am I evil spoken of? For that wherefore I give thanks. Whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all in the glory of God. He said that before too. Give none offense, neither to the Jews, nor to the Grecians, nor to the church of God. Even as I please all men in all things, not seeking mine own profit, but the profit of many, that they might be saved. Right. So there's 1599. I read it over here and see if there's anything different, right? Just think it says anything different, right? Okay. It says more over here, right? So and, right? And this is like a continuation of the sentence. Remember, there was no punctuation then. It was all one long letter, right? For I do not want you to be unaware, brothers, that our fathers were all under the cloud and all passed through the sea, right? That's the Red Sea. And all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink. For they drank from the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ. Right? Nevertheless, with most of them, God was not pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things took place as examples for us, that we might not desire evil as they did. Do not be idolaters as some of them were. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. We must not indulge in sexual immorality as some of them did. And 23,000 fell in a single day. Right? Remember, there were probably close to 1 million people. Right? So we must not put Christ to the test as some of them did and were destroyed by serpents, nor grumble as some of them did and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now these things happened to them as an example, but they were written down for our instruction, on whom the end of the ages has come. Therefore let anyone who thinks that he stands, take heed lest he fall. Pride, right? No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. Right? There's a lot of arguments with that, right? Saying, some people say, yes, he will, because it will show the glory of God, right? But if it shows the glory of God and you overcome it, were you tested beyond your ability? Right? I don't think so. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it, right? Therefore, my beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to sensible people. Judge for yourselves what I say. The cup of blessing that we bless, Is it not a participation in the blood of Christ? The bread that we break, is it not a participation in the body of Christ? Because there is one bread. We, who are many, are one body, for we all partake of the one bread. Right? Consider the people of Israel. Are not those who eat the sacrifices participants in the altar? What do I imply then? That food offered to idols is anything, or that an idol is anything? No, I imply that what pagan sacrifice they offer to demons and not to God. I do not want you to be participants with demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake in the table of the Lord and the table of demons. Shall we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? I don't think so, right? Okay. All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor. Eat whatever is sold in the meat market without raising any questions on the ground of conscience, for the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. If one of the unbelievers invites you to dinner and you are disposed to go, eat whatever is set before you without raising any question on the ground of conscience. But if someone says to you, this has been offered in sacrifice, then do not eat it, for the sake of the one who informed you and for the sake of conscience. Right? If nobody says anything you don't know, eat whatever they set before you, right? If you don't know, God blesses your food, right? I do not mean your conscience, but his, right? If they tell you, then you're like, I can't eat that, just so they'll know that it's not a good thing to do, right? For why should my liberty be determined by someone else's conscience? If I partake with thankfulness, why am I denounced because of that for which I gave thanks? Right? If you give thanks, which means you're offering your food, right, to God, and he will bless it and make it clean, basically. Right? So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Give no offense to Jews or to Greeks or to the church of God, just as I try to please everyone in everything I do, not seeking my own advantage, but that of many, that they may be saved. Right? Right? Conscience. Talking all about conscience. That's interesting. So there you go. That's chapter 10. Okay. And tomorrow we'll do 11. Okay. And that's a pretty hefty chapter too. So at least one chapter a day is a good idea. So there you go. Catch up on the ones you may have missed and give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we will do it again. See ya.